everybody, welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program, and it is good to be back. 2-day absence, no Thursday or Friday show, Mott. Highly unusual, only the third time in over 3.5 years. I apologize. Thursday got a little screwed up. I dropped the ball, or the cork. And Vegas over the weekend with AJ, working though, wasn't that, got a little sick too. But flew in from Vegas this morning, took a shower, cut the hairs, drove to Jersey, and banging out a Thunder Show, because that's how we roll.
You just flew in from Vegas and boy, your arms are tired.
I flew, right. Zinfandel. Red Zins, very interesting varietal, goes back to Croatian roots, the varietal, also tie in DNA-wise to Primitivo in Italy. It's an interesting wine. It's fairly planted now in the U.S. About 10% of all California vineyards planted to Zinfandel. Now, it's only 1/6 of the production of the white Zinfandel, the pink stuff, but that gap has been closed over the last decade or so. It's also a varietal that's been on a little bit of a roller coaster run here in the U.S. as well. For example, this varietal was ripping hot. I mean, in fuego style, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, the Turley Martinelli revolution. You know, just really, why did I skip on that word? It was really just a hot varietal that caught a lot of attention, started getting good press, was fairly priced as Cabernets started growing. You know, even earlier, I remember the 94 vintage being really a substantial Zinfandel vintage. And really, Turley and Martinelli and other brands started becoming allocated items, and people were really clamoring for the high alcohol, big, rich, explosive Zinfandels, the spiciness, the black pepper that Zinfandel brings to the table. It's a varietal that I have a lot of fondness for. I don't drink it as much as I used to, but every time we do it on the show, I find one or two I like, and we've really we've had some good success. As a matter of fact, the 05 version of this was a huge home run on the Thunder Show. So I'm excited about trying these three. Porter Bass being biodynamic, Neyers made by Aaron Jordan, one of the great winemakers in California, and the St. Francis Pagani, which is really one of the iconic Zins in California over the last 2 decades. Comments, leave them so I can read them. Keith says, Gary, just found your show a few weeks ago after someone turned me onto it in the Cadiz tasting room grand opening. I'm already a hardcore Vaniac. That is very good. Thank you so much for hitting Arizona today. That was Wednesday. Weird thing is, I just got back from Tucson, Sonita. I'm beginning to help work the vineyards at Canelo Hills with Tim and Joan Mueller, right next door to Callahan. So it's almost spooky that you did the episode today. Agreed. I want to stress that I've tasted a lot of our wines out here, and people are doing interesting things. Give us some time. I think you will find our region will find its face and will be a unique new player on the scene. And if you've ever seen a monsoon here and then, you know. We always bring the thunder. Peace, Vaniacs. Keith, I agree with you. I think Arizona absolutely over the next decade to 2 will have its thumbprint on the wine society here in the U.S. We'll have a nice niche, and we'll produce some good wines. A Dumb Ryan King says, awesome show. Thanks for the impromptu shout out. You made my month. I hope Nathan does well when he goes back to Arizona. What did he do there as an intern? Not much. Just kidding, Nathan. Just kidding. I've had very few Arizona wines, but the ones I've had from Page Springs were excellent. I had one from Tucson that was way sugar-fied. I couldn't even stomach one glass. Question of the day, it was, how do you like your chicken? The rotisserie chicken from the grocery store is always my favorite. I think that's pretty funny. I used to rock those quite a bit. G-Rock says, hey Gary, really digging the camera road trips. How about behind the scenes on Wine Library and Wine Library TV? 56 days until kickoff. That is correct, Mott. It's even less now. Football season is getting close. As we know, the dynamic of this show shifts a little bit as that season approaches. And finally, Dr. Eduardo says, chicken, tangine, and coasis. Call me square. Couscous, excuse me. That's what happens when you can't read. Call me square, but I like the old school WLTV episodes the best. Tasting a slew of wines, especially blind, free associating flavor profiles. The majority of the talk is about wine. Very, and he said majority, really stressed that. Very high info QPR. Least favorite shows anytime there is a guest. Well, Dr. Eduardo, you're in for a treat because there's wines. I will keep it majority about them, and I'm excited to do that for you. Mott, Zoomy, Zoom. The Porter Bass 2005 Russian River, known as the Burgundy of California Russian Rivers. So the Zins and Syrahs have been coming on the scene a little bit more, but I'm still convinced. Mott, are you okay?
Yeah.
You don't cough often on the show. That really freaked me a little bit. You right? You promise? Cough again. The Vaniacs are very... Mott, there will be at least 40 comments on this. They're very concerned about your health. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You still look kind of choked out. You want some water?
I gotta get a drink of water.
Yeah, go get a drink of water. Why are you leaving? You could grab a glass? Mott is in trouble, folks. There's a crisis. I'll do the zoom in. Porter Bass Zin 2005. I know, not as good as the way Mott does it, but you've got to keep the got to keep the show rolling. The show must go on. 88 points. Josh Reynolds, who writes for Stephen Tanzer's International Wine Cellar. This wine rolls in at $25 US. Biodynamic farmed, very good winery. Porter Bass is. Had the pleasure of visiting them. Very old school. Something you'd see in the late 70s out of California. High quality wines. Not inexpensive by any stretch. They're getting their fair price point, but they're making good wines with a lot of soul and a lot of truth. And just checking them out. And most of all, a very distinct style, which I like. Whether you like it or not, I like the fact that they don't act like the others. 88 points, like I said, from Reynolds, which is a low score. I mean, he'll give 90s here and there, so I'm a little bit, not disappointed, but I would say it's a lower score for him. Let's see if we agree. Good color. Let's give it a sniffy sniff, especially since we're wearing the sniffy sniff wristband with the sniffy sniff glass Mott. That'd be a nice 2-pack for the holidays. All right, let's give it a whirl. Some nice black cherries approach my palate immediately. I'm also noticing that it has a little bit of like an engine flavor. Almost feel like I bit a car hood, but what was underneath it. So it's kind of like oily gasoline-y on maybe the second quarter. I wouldn't say it's the mid palate. Blackberries, engine. Then it gets a little bit lighter and tails off and really stops short. Really short finish, which is perplexing. I would say that it's a little creamy, so there's clearly an oak introduction in this wine, but it's lost a little of its focus and almost tired already, and it's a young wine. Acts very tired to me. I'm going to give it one more shot. Yeah, I'm not feeling this either. Just kind of a blot effort. I really feel like any Ravenswood, Franciscan, Simi Zin at $15 kind of talks to me the same way this wine does. I don't really like it. I'm going to score this wine 81 points. I'm going to give it a pass. Let's throw up 3 Z's, and let's move on.
Give it belated zoomy zoom.
Yeah. Oh, Mott, look at you. I did my own zoomy zoom.
Did you?
Yeah, it was really amazing. Neyers, 2006 High Valley Vineyards Zinfandel rolls in at, where's the alcohol content? I was really curious what they did with the alcohol in this one. 15.3. It always gets crazy. Aaron Jordan makes this. Again, one of the great winemakers in California. 91 points, Robert Parker. 30 bones, which is some bucks. Again, that's another thing with these Zins. They were surely more exciting when they were $15.99 in the mid-90s, late 90s. So the price points, but they haven't gotten crazy. They haven't been able to because the demand kind of softened. Be nice to see them. Great to see Zins, especially with the Priorats and the Riojas and some of the other competition from Portugal around the world. Be nice to see these wines of this caliber and quality at $19.99, $17.99. We're not seeing that much anymore, and that is definitely hurting the category as a whole. Sniffy sniff. Now this has a much more interesting nose. There's this little like crushed up coffee bean on the nose. I love this little hint of rosemary that I'm picking up on the tail end of the nose. And again, dark fruit. You're getting like dark sour cherries. You know dark sour cherries. They're delicious and they smell yum yum. Blueberries. Phone is ringing. The chocolate component is starting to sneak through. The coffee beans are still there, focused and delicious. Very pretty nose, very focused. It's got me quite excited to actually drink the wine. Let's give it a whirl. Very creamy, almost like vanilla bean coffee thing going on. Very easy drinking, which is quite impressive given the 15.3 alcohol content that this wine rolls in with. I mean, this is a big boy. It's kind of like a huge offensive lineman that can run like a 5.0 40. That's a big boy moving fast. This wine has a lot going on, and it's containing it with its tannin, its fruit, its slight oak play. That's where you get that vanilla bean. This is a very balanced wine. Once again, winemaker's hand. I've got to really honestly say, in my opinion, this is where Aaron Jordan really shows, you know, the value of a great winemaker. This is really put together quite well. I'm impressed. I'm also very much disappointed that it doesn't have an oomph, right? It's like, it's good. It's like a really great boxer without a knockout punch. It's like, it's great. But, you know, kind of like Holyfield, right? It's like, he was a really good fighter, but the fact that he didn't have that knockout power, it never really romanced America. You know what I mean, Mott? You know, it's like a really, you know, George Brett, really great, all-time great player. Not hitting homers, you know, chicks dig the long ball. And in this scenario, this wine is awesome, well-made, but lacks the long ball. That little sprint of charisma that makes it from somebody that's really cool to you're infatuated with him. That charisma play in this wine is lacking, and that's what takes it from not being what I think last year's version might have been. I don't remember exactly why I loved it so much. Might have to, should we? Yeah, link it up. I don't know how you're going to find that. Just search. But I like it. It's very well made. I think Parker's really in the wheelhouse. I'm going to go 90 plus. He went 91. It's 30 bones, though, and I don't know if I can really sit here and say you got to go out and find this. As a matter of fact, I can't. That being said, if you see it and you can afford it, it's definitely worth a try because it's a nice wine, and some of you might even like it more than I do, which is very possible and likely. And some will hate it. Good wine, though. I like the raspberry that's starting to come through. It's good wine. It's good wine. And finally, St. Francis, 2004. We went 04, 05, 06, man. Nice little range of vintages. St. Francis 04 Reserve, Pagani Vineyards, which is a great vineyard. 15.3 also. 30 bones. And, you know, some of the vineyards here at Pagani are 100-year-old plus vines. So really, really interesting is that this was really one of the power horse Zins back in the day. It had a much better label too. It was like this really great gray label with gold writing. I loved it. Now it's got a terrible, awful, awful label. Sorry to the artist. But we don't drink the label, do we? Though I know a lot of you, way too many of you, buy by the label. All right, sniffy sniff. First thing comes to mind is that this is a little bit too over the top for my nose. It's very explosive. It's got an eggnog component. The oak is a little monstrous on the nose. There is clearly big red fruit going on here. You know, cherries, strawberries, raspberries. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a little too oaky for me, I think. Let's give it a whirl. I got up, I walked outside, and I bit a tree. Mott, do a little tree action. Let them see the trees out there. I bit one of those trees. That is what I just did. I bit a tree. It doesn't make me happy. Mott, do you think when I say the oak over oak, maybe we should start showing the trees? It's nice. It's scenic. It might calm the, you know, you missed an 85 the other day.
No, you went 80. You gave it in a range.
I see. You saw the fan mention that? All right. Watch it. Watch it. Don't call that Mott.
It has to be a pure 85.
Pure 85s. Mott, I love you. Are you okay?
No,
You're choking quite a bit.
Dripping.
Yeah, you were really
irritated.
I got really worried there. All right. Yeah, this is oaky. I dislike it. It's not exciting. It could be $5 with this much oak. It completely strips any of, in my opinion, the true flavors of the terroir or the nuances. I do get black pepper. I would be sitting here and lying to you if I didn't enjoy the beef jerky component that this wine has that's laced throughout this effort as it goes through my palate. The dark blueberries are nice, but overall, it is so oaky that I can't really navigate through those other subtle flavors. As a matter of fact, as I sit here talking to you guys, this is really the telltale sign, right? At the end of the day, we can bullcrap and be all nerdy and put on our Sir Vaynerchuk caps. We need to talk about that. But it's all coming down to one thing. Do you like it? Do you like to drink the wine? And I'll tell you right now, my mouth is pissed right now. I don't like the flavors. I can't wait to finish taping this show so I can go drink or eat something else. It is not a comfortable feeling for my mouth. The mouth is angry at me, and I really don't know what to say to it. I've got to do this show. I apologize to the mouth, but there's nothing I can do. The wine is not delicious in any way. Over oaked, scored 75. Don't buy it, and laugh at the label. Question of the day. What is your favorite and least favorite all-time Zinfandels? You, with a little bit of me, we are changing the wine world. Good to be back.